Hearthstone is one of those rare digital card games that managed to not only capture lightning in a bottle, but also sustain it for over a decade. And looking at it today, you really start to understand why it's still thriving. At its core, Hearthstone is Blizzard's take on a collectible card game, a spin-off from the Warcraft universe that transformed familiar characters, spells, and creatures into a streamlined yet deceptively deep card battling experience. From the moment you boot it up, you're greeted with that warm tavern aesthetic, the crackle of a fireplace, and the sound of wooden boards as the game pieces snap into place. The presentation alone set it apart when it first released back in 2014, and it still does now. Blizzard took what was often an intimidating genre and stripped it down into something accessible, approachable, but still endlessly strategic. And that decision shaped the digital card game landscape for years to come. The gameplay is deceptively simple on the surface. Each player has a hero based on iconic Warcraft classes like Mage, Warrior, Paladin, Hunter, Warlock, and so on, each with a unique hero power that gives them a distinct identity. You start with a mana crystal and gain one more each turn, so your resources naturally scale with the game's progression. This pacing means early turns are about cheap minions and spells, while later turns escalate into massive, board-swinging plays. The central goal is straightforward: reduce your opponent's health from 30 to 0. But the sheer variety of cards, synergies, and deck archetypes means every match feels unique. Hearthstone's great strength has always been how it layers complexity on top of that simplicity. Anyone can pick it up and understand the flow, but mastery requires knowledge of deck building, predicting opponents' moves, and managing your limited resources for maximum impact. One of the most compelling aspects of Hearthstone is how each class feels so distinct. A mage relies on direct damage and controlling the board with spells. A hunter focuses on aggressive tempo and dealing damage to the opponent's face. A warlock sacrifices its own health for powerful card draw, while a priest plays the long game with healing and attrition. This variety ensures that players can always find a class identity that resonates with their preferred style, and it makes the meta diverse and constantly shifting. Over the years, expansions have introduced hundreds upon hundreds of new cards. Mechanics like Discover, Magnetic, Tradable, and keywords like Lifesteal, Poisonous, Rush, and more. These constant injections of fresh mechanics keep the game feeling alive, even if at times it can be overwhelming for returning players who step away for a while. Progression in Hearthstone has gone through multiple iterations. Originally, the game leaned heavily on packs and dust. Players would buy card packs, open them, and then disenchant duplicates into dust to craft specific cards they needed. That system is still in place, but Blizzard has layered on battle passes, tavern passes, and reward tracks that give players structured progression for simply playing the game, completing quests, and hitting milestones. These systems help make collecting feel a little less punishing than it did in the early years, though Hearthstone has always had that underlying monetization pressure. It is, after all, a free-to-play card game with randomized packs, so spending money can speed up your collection dramatically, while free-to-play players have to be deliberate about which decks they pursue. This monetization has been both a strength and a point of criticism, with the community often debating whether the cost of staying competitive is fair. The story side of Hearthstone is an interesting one, because while it started as a purely multiplayer-focused card battler, Blizzard has experimented with solo adventures, dungeon runs, and narrative campaigns. These modes often gave players unique challenges, like building decks as you progress through a gauntlet of bosses, or using special treasures that broke the rules of the main game. Some of these, like the dungeon run format introduced in Kobolds and Catacombs, were so beloved that they became a template for future content. Others leaned into Warcraft lore, but with a lighter, whimsical Hearthstone twist. It's not a game that takes itself too seriously. Its humor, voice acting, and art style always lean toward playful and cartoonish, rather than dark or gritty, which makes it feel inviting and timeless. Visually, Hearthstone has always had one of the most polished art styles in the genre. The card illustrations are vibrant, full of character, and instantly readable, while the board itself is alive with interactive elements and subtle animations. Playing a spell like Pyroblast or summoning a massive minion like Ragnaros the Fire Lord never gets old because the animations are so satisfying. The sound design is equally important. Cards thump onto the board with weight, spells crackle and roar, and each hero has unique voice lines that reinforce their identity. These small details build immersion and make digital card battles feel physical and tactile in a way that's rare in the genre. Controls and user experience are about as smooth as they come for a digital card game. Dragging cards onto the board feels intuitive, whether you're playing on PC or mobile, and the interface is clean, accessible, and friendly to both newcomers and veterans. Over the years, Blizzard has refined the UI with features like deck trackers, collection filters, and smoother transitions, ensuring that Hearthstone remains one of the easiest card games to simply pick up and play. On mobile devices, it remains one of the most seamless experiences available. You can finish a match in a few minutes on the go, or sink hours into it if you want to grind out quests and climb the ranked ladder. Performance has generally been stable, though as the game has grown with expansions, some players on older devices notice slowdowns or longer load times. That said, Blizzard's support for Hearthstone across multiple platforms has been consistent, with regular patches, balance updates, and events to keep the ecosystem healthy. The competitive side of the game has also evolved, with ranked ladders, seasonal awards, and esports tournaments. While Hearthstone's esports scene has fluctuated in popularity and investment over the years, it still has a dedicated community of competitive players and streamers who drive discussion around the meta and strategy. Replayability is one of Hearthstone's strongest aspects, with constant expansions, seasonal events, limited-time modes like Battlegrounds and Mercenaries, and the endless variety of decks you can build. There's always something new to explore. Battlegrounds in particular has become a massive hit, functioning almost like its own auto-battler game inside Hearthstone, with unique drafting mechanics and strategies that stand apart from traditional play. Modes like this give players fresh ways to engage with the same cards and characters, ensuring the game stays relevant even if you get burnt out on ranked ladder climbing. Community reception has gone through waves, as with any long-running live service game. At its peak, Hearthstone was one of the most watched games on Twitch, influencing countless digital card games that followed. Over time, some players grew frustrated with balance issues, aggressive monetization, or stale metas, but Blizzard's ability to reinvent and refresh the game has kept it from fading away. Today, it still commands a passionate player base, from casual tavern brawlers to hardcore deck optimizers, and it stands as one of the most successful and enduring digital card games of all time. When you compare Hearthstone to its competitors, whether it's Magic, The Gathering Arena, Legends of Runeterra, Gwent, or newer indie entries, it still stands out for its polish, accessibility, and personality. Magic offers more complexity, Runeterra offers more generosity in its economy. But Hearthstone hits that sweet spot of casual fun and competitive depth that made it a household name. Blizzard's track record with updates and its clear investment in keeping the game alive suggests that Hearthstone isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Ultimately, Hearthstone is more than just a digital card game. It's a platform, a community, and for many players, a ritual. It's something you can boot up after a long day, hear that familiar tavern music, and immediately feel at home. Whether you're chasing legend rank, experimenting with wacky deck ideas, or just enjoying the thrill of opening packs, there's a satisfying loop here that's kept millions of players engaged for over a decade. It's not perfect. Monetization and meta frustrations are part of the package, but it's undeniably one of the most influential and enduring games of its kind, and it continues to prove why the tavern doors are still open after all these years. That's all for today's review. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one.
You learned some new tricks, but they will not help you.
There are so many minions. I need to deal with them first.
Flame on!
Job's done.
Frostmourne hungers.
How is he summoning so many minions?
Job's done.
The end is inevitable.
Armies of bone lay waste.
I need to slow him down. Now his minions cannot attack.
Job's done.
You froze my warriors. That's cold.
With one spell, I can clear the board.
I too command the power of frost.
I just need to hold out a little longer.
The fires of vengeance burn bright!
Job's done.
Rise, my minions!
I've got you right where I want you. It's over. But there are many more battles to be fought.